"Oh no," Seth said in horror when he saw Tyrese in the pool. "Is he dead?" Tim asked. I didn't answer him. And I didn't stop to think, I just acted. Stripping off my outer clothes as fast as I could, I dove into the pool and swam to Tyrese. "Cassie, wait!" I heard Tim yell at me. I ignored him, grabbing Tyrese by the arm and began pulling him to the side of the pool. "Help me get him out!" I screamed at the other two. Seth and Tim helped me drag the unconscious Tyrese out and rolled him on his back. I straddled him and began performing CPR just as I had been taught in high school. For a minute or so, it seemed like I was too late, and that he was dead. But then he expelled a gush of water from his lungs and began to cough, gasping for air. He sat up with a groan. "Where's Marie?" Seth shouted at him the second Tyrese opened his eyes. "What happened?" "They took her," Tyrese gasped. "They?" I asked. You mean there's more of them?" "Yeah, at least 2, maybe 3. Guys dressed in all black and wearing ski masks. They grabbed Marie and started dragging her away. I tried to stop them, but someone hit me from behind. That's all I know." He groaned and touched his head, and I noticed for the first time he was bleeding slightly from his scalp. He looked at me and noticed I was half naked and wet. What happened?" "They left you in the pool after they knocked you out," I explained. "You're lucky. Another minute or so and I don't think I could have saved you." I became aware that I was in my underwear, soaking wet, still straddling Tyrese, who was also nearly naked and soaking wet. In spite of my fear, I think I flushed slightly. I looked up at Tim, pointing his light at me, and I thought I caught him eyeing my now transparent bra. But he quickly darted his eyes away. I stood up and helped Tyrese to his feet. "We have to go find Marie!" Seth screamed, near panic. "We have to help her!" "Well, where could they have taken her?" He came to me. "The shed outside. That's the killer's hideout in the script. That must be where they took her." "Then what are we waiting for? Let's go!" Seth shouted and ran back to the front of the lodge. "Seth, wait!" I called after him, but he was too concerned about Marie, too worried about what might be happening to her, or had already happened, to listen. I looked to Tim. "Point your light at us so we can get dressed." Hastily pulling our clothes back on, Tyrese and I chased after Seth, Tim right behind us. The door to outside was already open, wind and snow blowing in by the time we got there. I could see Seth's footprints leading to the shed across the driveway. The 3 of us followed them. The blizzard was still raging, the snow now in drifts 4 feet deep in places, the wind shrieking. We struggled through the snow to the shed, fighting against forceful gusts that threatened to knock us over. I was shivering severely. It was freezing, and beneath my clothes I was still wet from diving into the swimming pool. We arrived at the shed and found Seth frantically struggling to yank off a huge padlock securing the door. "I can't get it off!" he yelled at us. "Let me try," Tyrese said, removing his lockpick from his pants. Seth stepped aside and Tyrese went to work. "Hurry up," Seth said impatiently. Tyrese ignored him. After a few seconds, the padlock popped open and Tyrese tossed it aside, and then Seth nearly shoved him aside and pulled open the heavy wooden door. We stepped inside and aimed our lights around. A large snowplow took up most of the floor. There was a workbench and various tools hanging from the walls. There was nothing else there. No sign of Marie or her abductors. "She's not here," I said. "But it says in the scripts," Seth began. "I don't think these freaks are too interested in following the script anymore," Tyrese interrupted him. "Then where is she?" Seth asked fearfully. We were all silent. None of us had any clue where she could be. It dawned on me suddenly. The RV. "Huh?" the 3 of them said in unison, looking at me. "The RV! That's where those sickos have been hiding out all this time. She must be in there." We headed in the direction of the RV. Again, it probably seems like we were doing something incredibly stupid to you, unarmed and about to burst in and possibly confront at least 2 or more dangerous strangers who had kidnapped our friend and attempted to kill one of us, and it probably was stupid, but we weren't thinking clearly, and we were desperate to save Marie. The RV was surrounded by several huge drifts of snow, the windows dark. We went around the side of the door and Tim tried the knob. It turned and he opened the door. He stepped in and we followed behind him. The inside of the RV was pitch black, and it stank. A funky smell that was a combination of body odor and stale sweat. The smell of a place that had been inhabited for a while by someone not too big on regular bathing. We shined our lights around the dark interior. The RV looked much bigger on the inside than it appeared outside. There was a small table that folded down from the wall. Its surface was covered with open cans of half-eaten food, an ashtray overflowing with crushed cigarette butts, several empty beer bottles. There were several small, unmade beds in a cubicle housing a toilet and sink. The only sound was our breathing and the wind howling outside. "Hey!" Seth exclaimed. "What's that?" He had noticed something in the rear of the RV, a faint, greenish glow. We made our way back there, moving cautiously. "Be careful," I whispered. We went to the back of the RV and just stared, dumbstruck. The rear of the RV resembled the inside of a surveillance van from a cop movie or a police procedural show. There was a desk with 2 laptops on it, both open, and above it, mounted on the wall, were 16 TV monitors, their screens tinted green with night vision. Each of them gave a different perspective of the interior of the lodge: the lobby, dining room, swimming pool, second-floor hallway. I realized these monitors were linked up to the cameras inside. One even gave a view of the lounge, which was strange, because I didn't recall seeing a camera in there. I reached up and pushed a button under one monitor, showing the second-floor hallway. Changing the channel, and a different perspective popped up. This one shocked me. It was a view of my bedroom. I recognized it immediately. I pushed a button under a different monitor, and the view switched to my personal bathroom. I pushed more buttons, and views of 2 other bedrooms and their bathrooms appeared. One appeared to be vacant, the bed neatly made, although I had a good idea of whose it was. We'd been in the room earlier that morning. The other room had a girl's clothes scattered on the bed and the floor. I recognized those clothes. The clothes Marie had been wearing earlier. "Holy," Tim hissed. "There must be hidden cameras in all the girls' rooms," I stated. I remembered Ray promising us that none of our rooms would have cameras in them to respect our privacy. I felt sick. Those sickos had been spying on us all this time, watching us bathe and change, and in Mad's case, have a very intimate exchange with Tyrese. They violated our personal space. Then I looked down at the 2 laptops, really noticing them for the first time. They were both off. I turned on the one on the left. The desktop screen appeared. It was blank except for a single file icon marked vid #31172/night3/funw.mad. Some inner voice told me not to click on that file, knowing I wouldn't want to see what was on it. But I just had to know. I clicked it. A media player appeared, and the video began to play. It was someone's point of view recorded from a camera. They were walking down the hallway of the second floor. I could hear their ragged breathing. They approached room 205, Mad's room. I felt my stomach lurch, but I kept watching. A hand clad in a black leather glove reached out and turned the knob, opening the door quietly. The camera POV entered the bedroom. The clothes Mad had been wearing that night, the last time we had seen her, were scattered on the floor. The camera walked slowly, quietly into the bathroom. We could hear the shower running. It walked up to the closed shower curtain, and the black-gloved hand reached out, grabbed the shower curtain, and yanked it back. Mad, wearing her strapless swimsuit, turned to the unseen person holding the camera and began to scream piercingly in horror. Maybe she started off acting in the scene she was expecting to film, but if so, she stopped acting and stopped screaming when a fist swung into view, smashing her in the mouth. Her head was knocked back, smashing into the tile shower wall behind her. She slumped to the floor of the tub, moaning, semi-conscious. Her mouth was bleeding. "Oh my God," I moaned. The person holding the camera dragged a dazed and groaning Mad out of the shower onto the bathroom floor. The point of view lowered into a close-up of her face as whoever it was got down and straddled her. A gloved hand slapped her face lightly, rousing her. "Wake up," a man's deep, gravelly voice demanded. "Wake up! It's showtime." She looked up, her face becoming lucid. Her expression turned to a look of alarm. She opened her mouth to scream again. The man's free hand, the one not holding the camera, now appeared in frame, holding a huge hunting knife, pressing the blade tightly against her throat. She stifled her scream, looking up fearfully. "What do you want?" she whimpered. "You want to be an actress? Well, now you're going to get your wish. I'm your director. You're going to act for me. Now act." The man's other hand, the one holding the knife, disappeared out of the frame. It reappeared a moment later, holding a small tape recorder. It held the recorder close to Mad's mouth. "Repeat after me. I'm fine." He clicked the record button. I'm fine," she stammered. The hand turned the recorder off, sat it down, and then slapped Mad's face viciously, causing her to yelp in pain. "Say it calmly!" His voice was thunderous with rage. He picked up the recorder, pressed record, and returned it to her lips. Mad, terrified, forced herself to sound as composed as possible. "I'm fine." His hand pushed the stop on the record button. "I'm pretty tired. Say it." He clicked record. "I'm pretty tired," she repeated after him. Click. Stop. "I need to get some sleep." Click. Record. Mad repeated, "I need to get some sleep." Click. Stop. "Please leave me alone." Click. Record. Mad repeated, "Please leave me alone." Click. Stop. "I'll feel better in the morning." Click. Record. Mad repeated, "I'll feel better in the morning." The hand removed the tape recorder from her lips. "Very good," he whispered. "Very good." His hand caressed her face almost lovingly. "Oh my, you sure are pretty," he cooed sickeningly. His hand trailed down her face, over her throat, down to the top of her swimsuit. Ugh, I could only imagine the disgusting, sickening things that he was doing off screen. Poor Mad. Suddenly, there was an abrupt cut in the footage. In the next scene, Mad was hanging suspended in the air, ropes tied to her arms, her feet barely touching the ground. The camera had been switched to night vision. There was blackness all around her. I couldn't tell what location this had been shot at. Mad looked up fearfully at her unseen tormentor. The cameraman slowly approached her. "Now we're going to shoot my movie. Ready?" Mad tried to scream, but a gag muffled the sound. I won't even describe what happened next. It was sickening beyond anything I had ever seen, beyond anything I had ever imagined. It went beyond the depths of depravity. I couldn't believe there could be someone capable of doing such a thing to another human being. I paused the video. I couldn't bear to watch it anymore. I heard Seth retching behind me. Tyrese had his face in his hands, shaking his head. Tim was just staring blankly at the laptop. "Who are these people?" he asked. I looked at the other laptop, the one on the right. After what we had seen on the first laptop, I really didn't want to turn that one on. But we had come too far. We had already seen too much. Steeling myself, I turned it on. In a way, it was even worse. The second laptop showed a webcam screen. There were words flashing in the lower right corner. Live feed. On the left side was a bar with viewer comments scrolling up. I didn't read any of the comments, but I did see something at the bottom of the screen. Something I still remember to this day and probably will for the rest of my life. 55,632 subscribers. I only glanced at that, though. My attention was mainly focused on the webcam itself. The girl was hanging suspended from ropes, feet barely touching the floor, gagged. Seth, peering over my shoulder, saw her too. His voice was filled with alarm and horror. "No!" It was Marie.